So you beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to talk about a future weapons balancing patch that is due to come out for mid-season in Call of Duty Warzone. And I've got one simple question for you guys, and I just want a yes or no answer in the comment section. Does the Grau deserve to be nerfed in Call of Duty Warzone? If you are new here and you like all things Call of Duty, consider subscribing with the notification bell clicked so you get my videos as soon as they are published. So recently, Joe Seacott was tweeted by someone called Captain, and they said, on a serious note guys, when is the Grau going to be nerfed? At least 90% of kill cams are from the Grau. Does that not tell you anything? The M4 was nerfed 3 times immediately. Now I disagree with that statement and I'll explain why shortly. The Grau is ruining Warzone right now. Joe's response to this was, we have a batch of weapon tunings in the works for the mid-season updates. Patch notes will outline when they drop. Now I don't think the Grau is ruining Warzone. Now why do I disagree with the M4 statement? It wasn't nerfed immediately, and even if it wasn't significant enough to be noticed. People moaned about that weapon for months, so much so I never actually used it because it was so meta until Warzone first came out. Now bear that in mind, I brought Modern Warfare on its release and started playing it on its release, and I didn't touch the M4. I'm being genuinely serious here. I didn't. There's a tweet somewhere in my Twitter that will show it. I never ranked that weapon up until Warzone. That's how much I detested it, because I saw it constantly. So I get what this guy is getting. I get what Captain's getting at when he says at least 90% of kill cams are Graus. This is true to a degree, but is it because the Grau is the best weapon in Call of Duty Warzone? No. Statistically, the best weapon is the Ram 7. Why? Because it has the best DPS over most ranges. The only problem with the Ram 7 and why a lot of people don't use it is because it's got quite an unorthodox recoil pattern. Most recoil patterns in Call of Duty history have veered off to the right hand side, so unconsciously most of us can control that through muscle memory. Now the Ram 7 veers off to the left hand side, and if you don't know what the recoil pattern looks like and you haven't tested it, then naturally you're going to try and make the adjustments as if it's a right hand recoil weapon, and you're never going to get good results. When you do understand the recoil pattern, it is a very, very powerful weapon. So why do I think the Grau is so popular? I think it's a weapon that has been influenced by several things. Nick Mercs started using this and Swag, and as soon as they migrated over to these weapons, I done a video literally straight away, and over the following, I'd say 7 to 14 days, that video just grew and grew and started to go crazy. And that was because of the popularity of that weapon gaining traction, because people's favorite streamers started to use the weapon. Also, the weapon's very reminiscent of the ACR, which was very easy to manage in Call of Duty, thus its popularity increased. The M27, that was a really easy to use weapon, not the most powerful, but a very consistent one in gunfights, so a lot of people gravitated towards that. In Call of Duty Ghosts, we had the likes of the Honey Badger, again low recoil, so a lot of people used it. The MV4 in Call of Duty's Infinite Warfare was another weapon that loads of people gravitated towards, and this has just been a tradition in Call of Duty. A lot of people seem to veer towards low recoil, moderate damage weapons because they're going to hit their shots, so they feel like they're going to get those kills. Now if you put someone like Shroud with a high DPS, high recoil weapon, he's still going to dominate those with the more accurate weapon because he's just a god at the game. That is just statistically true. So I get why a lot of people are using a Grau, but it's not the best weapon in Call of Duty. However, at range, it is definitely the best AR, and this is where I believe the weapon's going to need to be looked at. You should not be challenging a sniper like easily in their range at a very long range, where a sniper rifle is comfortably in its own environment. That's where I have a problem with the Grau. People are finding it far too easy to take people out at stupid ranges that they shouldn't really be challenging at, or at least should be the underdog in them situations. Some things have to change in terms of the weapon diversity in the game. So what weapons would I think would need to be brought up to be, you know, contestants for the new meta. Whoa, the Scar is a weapon that I think has just been disrespected in Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Warzone. And I feel like its biggest disadvantage in Call of Duty Warzone is definitely its ammo capacity. I think this is something that should be looked at, even if it's just for the actual Warzone part of the game. I would have a maximum ammo capacity of 45 in the magazine, maybe 50, but I feel like that will be slightly overkill. If you look at the latest addition to the game, the CR56, that's got a 45 round magazine, and I think that's around perfect because it's a 3 to 4 shot kill weapon. So you got to kind of balance things out before they become overpowered, just like people believe the Grau is overpowered. Also, I'd like to see the MP5 get a slight nerf, and things like the Striker 45 probably get an increase to its fire rate. The P90 could do with a nice increase in range just to bring these weapons up. That's why I loved Modern Warfare 2. It was a crazy game, and it definitely had its problems, but you could use any gun in that particular game and it would do you justice. And I feel like that's what we're missing. There always will be a meta weapon. People just play the game enough to find out what is the most consistent, most powerful, most dominant weapon, and that's what the pros are very good at doing. But I just feel like we need to kind of compress all these weapons so that there's more diversity, and little quirky things like recoil, little quirky things like handling make you make the things like iron sights make you make the choice of that weapon over that weapon for simplistic little things, so you don't always consistently see the same weapon in the kill cam. So we're yet to find out when this is going to happen. It says mid-season update, but we already know a few times they've been late with updates. So I'm not going to put any bets on that one. But let me know down in the comment section, which weapon would you like to see get some love in this mid-season update. Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they to your fancy. And as always, guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.